cybersecurity professionals, but we also have to categorize that as what kind of professional we're talking about. We like to say cybersecurity professional, and then you look, and that could mean anything from cybersecurity executive to a manager to an IDS, someone who maintains an IDS, to someone who does information assurance, to someone who reads packets from a PCAP capture. There could be thousands of jobs, all different in nature, that make up the cybersecurity profession. So are we lacking in all of those areas of all of those professionals? I don't think so. Are there certain very specific high talent areas that we need to focus on and find better people for? Absolutely. Is it something that we can cure by throwing money at? I'm not sure that that's the answer. Is it something that we can cure by testing and licensing? Absolutely not. Is it something that we can cure through education? I think that will help. But I think one of the things we have to realize is that some of these very specialized talents, some of these high-level malware analysts, hunters, some of the people that write code that help us find these problems. These people have a natural talent, and we have to get better at finding that natural talent and nurturing that natural talent along, however we need to nurture it. It's not a simple formula. So I think some of the things that we're doing are helpful in bringing some of the different roles in cybersecurity forward and helping us create more of these professionals. But I would hate for us to forget about those special people who have natural talent, and we have to get better at identifying that talent and nurturing that talent.
Right. Yeah, definitely. In your learning objectives, you discuss about something pertaining to understanding how to adapt programs, processes, technologies to prevent current and future attacks. If you could kind of just explain that just a little bit on what would be covered on something like this.
Sure. Well, if we look at the way we have classically done identification of attacks and how we've classically secured our networks, we've classically done that with a thought that we were going to protect an enclave, that we were going to firewall it away from other things, and we were going to use signatures to identify traffic that might be bad. We now realize that we've missed a great deal of what's happened to us because this technology is no longer applicable. Well, it has some application, but it's not thorough enough. It's not. Well, one thing, it's after the fact, and the other thing is it requires us to know that something's going to happen so that we can go look for it. And we all know that that's the difficult part of this.
Right.
So what do? We need to look at new technologies going forward. We need to look at new methodologies for looking for attacks, for defending our networks and getting out in front of it. So we'll really be talking about new technologies, new methodologies, new thoughts that are going through people's minds of how, maybe even some trial processes that people are using to get out in front of this problem, not just in finding new ways to identify things, but to actually get out in front and try and defend our networks prior to it happening. So that's what that talk will be about.
All right. So do you think it's about time that we come up with a new security model, or is the defense in depth still a good security model? Is just the practices within them needs to be upgraded or something?
Well, defense in depth is always going to be a good model, just like life cycle management has always been a good model. We just don't always do that. One of the mistakes we've made is we separated our operations folks away from our security folks, and our security folks identify things and recommend things, and the operations folks are supposed to implement them. And we found that that's a broken process now, that we've firewalled them away from each other. That's one thing that people are looking at, is how to possibly put our teams back together and have them working cohesively to create that more defensible network. So there are lots of new ideas without throwing the baby out with the bathwater, of keeping some of the good things that we've learned over time and just improving them going forward.
Right. And I guess hopefully I can remember the title, Director of Cybersecurity at FOSSI. I guess we talked about it earlier, the Director of Cybersecurity Affairs at FOSSI. What are some of the talks? I know, you may not want to show any favorites or anything, but what are some of the talks that come to mind when you were looking over the grid and so forth that you would, recommend that someone definitely, attend?
Well, I think it depends on what kind of cyber professional you are. I think there's a really great talk for those who are executives in the government or working for executives in the government who want to understand what their thought processes are and what they're doing, and that is the Chief Information Security Officer, People, Process, Technology, and Budget. That's a really hard job today. It's a very big and broad job, and it's very unusual to have a job where you have to understand business, policy, and technology all in one. And so I think that one's going to be very interesting. I think everyone will enjoy the cyber attack demo. If you've never seen an advanced attack visually and seen how that works, this is a great demo to attend. You'll be able to see the attack actually happen and see how we detect attacks. That's a great one to go to.
Off the top, do you know what day that will be presented, or is it like a multiple?
The cyber attack demo is actually Tuesday at 10:30.
Okay.
Tuesday, May 14th, 10:30. And the Chief Information Security Officer is at 1:30 on Tuesday.
Okay. Right. And in addition to being affiliated with FOSSI, you're also the president and CEO of Mischel Kwon and Associates. If you don't mind, could you just kind of explain the mission of your organization?
Sure. We are a cybersecurity consulting firm, and we work with both government, private sector, and state and local clients. We work in the area of security governance, information assurance. We also do security operations work.
Okay. And I guess the website, if someone wanted to go to the website to either obtain more information or contact you?
Sure. It's www.mkwonassoc.com.
Okay. And any Twitter information, if anyone would like to follow you during Twitter?
Yes. MKA Says is my Twitter.
Okay.
And we will be tweeting throughout the conference.
Great. Before we end the interview, one of the questions that I normally ask the guests is, in your opinion, what is the biggest InfoSec risk to organizations right now, in your opinion?
What is the biggest risk? That's a really hard thing to say because each organization is different. But I think there is a common thread. And I think the biggest risk today is that most security organizations are underfunded. And they are underfunded because it is sometimes hard to articulate to executives the risk to the business. Executives really don't care if they have to replace a machine.
Right.
But they really care if they're going to lose millions of dollars or if they're going to put their intellectual property at risk.
Exactly.
So that's the biggest risk today, is the underfunding of security.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Michelle, for taking the time to speak to us and to give us some more information about the upcoming FOSSI 2013 event. I've been speaking to Mischel Kwon, President and CEO of Mischel Kwon and Associates, and also an integral part of the cybersecurity aspect at FOSSI. And her information will be posted on the notes if you would like to follow her tweets during the actual event as well as her website. Is there anything that you'd like to close with, Michelle?
I just hope everyone comes to the conference. I understand that the government folks will be able to get in without a fee. So it's a good opportunity to get in and network with your colleagues and hear some great presentations.
Yes, and we definitely look forward to hearing your talk, which is current threats and attacks, case study, as well as following your tweet. SecurityOrb will be following and retweeting some of your tweets, so we definitely look forward to that.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, and thank you. And until the next time, if we happen to get you again for the third time next year, that'll be great. And I will definitely look for you at the event, introduce myself personally.
That sounds great.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. And yes, everyone, that was Mischel Kwon, President and CEO of Mischel Kwon and Associates, as well as, again, an integral part of the cybersecurity aspect of FOSSI. And we look to hear and get more information about her, not only during the event, but as well as after, because it seems like she's definitely a major player within the InfoSec community. And you were just listening to an interview that I conducted with Mischel Kwon. I hope you enjoyed it. For more information on other shows that we have, I ask that you go to SecurityOrb.com and select the SecurityOrb Show button. We are also on Twitter at SecurityOrb.com, and we are also on Facebook, so we hope to see you there. And until the next time, we'll bring you some more interesting interviews as well as latest InfoSec news in the arena. My name is Caleb Charles, and that was the SecurityOrb Show. And until the next time, thank you.